Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Montfort University's live stream on making the most of your money. So my name is Dal, and I'm going to be your host this afternoon. So I'll be sort of guiding you through this session as we try to unpick what some great top tips may be when you are considering about coming to university and how to sort of make the most of your money. Now, these live streams that we do are supposed to be very interactive. They're supposed to be very engaging. So if you are out there listening to us somewhere on the interweb, please do give us a shout. So you'll see a little comment section. Give us a hello, give us a wave, give us an emoji, and we'll be able to bring up those shout outs as we go through today's live stream. So one thing that I really want to reiterate is that if you do have any questions related to this topic, as you can see on your screen, I'm joined by some wonderful experts within the realm of finance and giving in terms of students, in terms of giving those top tips on how our current students have sort of navigated their way through their time while studying here at Montfort University. So the good thing for you guys watching, you don't need to listen to my Brummie accent for a whole hour. So I will be bringing in the guests that you see on our screen. So I'm just going to start by giving a quick intro to everyone. So first of all, I'm going to start up with Louise. So good afternoon, Louise.
Hi, Dow. How's it going?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. It's 4 p.m. Manchester United play this evening, so I'm just hoping that they get a result tonight. So then my Monday can be a lot better than what it already is. How are you?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to Liverpool winning.
You Liverpool fan?
Yes.
Right. Louise is coming off the stream. We no longer need to speak to Louise. We don't need to hear what she has to say. No, I'm joking. Louise, do you want to give a bit of info about who you are, what you kind of do here at Montfort University?
Yeah, thanks, Dow. Hi, everyone. So my name's Louise. I work in the student finance or money advice team here at Montfort. I've got a role where I support students who might be care experienced or a carer or estranged from their parents, but I can give advice to you about student finance and money, and I support Fran and the others in the team as well with lots of information.
Excellent. And a little birdie tells me you're a bit of an expert when it comes to student finance. Is that correct?
Oh, I wouldn't listen to gossip, Dal, but I'll do my best.
Cool. And we've also got Fran with us. So good afternoon, Fran. How are you?
Hi, I'm all right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Fran. I'm a welfare officer in the DMU money advice team. And we can help with a wide range of money matters. So whatever is bothering you about money, come and see us. It could range from sorting out any emergency money problems you might have, contacting funding providers. We can do some budgeting with you. We also operate the DMU support fund, which is essentially the hardship fund. So lots of things that we do.
Excellent. So thank you for that, Fran. And the topics that Fran and Louise are speaking about, we will go into a bit more detail as we continue on within the stream. We also have Swada. So good afternoon, Swada. How are you? I think you might be on mute, Swada.
Oh, sorry about that. Yin and I are sharing a room, so we kind of have to do that. So you might have remind us time and again. Sorry about that, Dal. Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Do you want to just give the viewers a bit about what your sort of background is and how you're going to sort of provide some insight on this live stream?
Yes, so my name is Vartha and I'm a recent graduate of DMU. So I did my undergraduation in media and communication, and then I went ahead and did my master's in international business and marketing. So I've been with DMU for about 5 years. I've got loads of experience to share with you guys, my experience with DMU essentially. So yeah.
Excellent. And last but not least, we also have Yin. So good afternoon, Yin.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Dal. Hi, everyone. My name is Yin. I am also a recent graduate at DMU. I studied accounting and business management. Yes, I've been Leicester for 3 years, and I'm from Liverpool.
Excellent. So we've got another Scouse on the live stream. No, happy days for me. So Taryn, I can see you've put a load of love heart emojis. So thank you for that. We're definitely feeling the love on our side. Rachel, hello. Akib, hi. So guys, as you are watching, please do interact with us. Please do engage with us. And if you do have those questions, we will be answering them as we go through the actual live stream. So the first thing that I want to do really is head over to Louise. So Louise, would you be able to give us a very brief overview around student finance, around housing, and around any other costs that students might encounter for when they start their university journey with us?
Absolutely, Dal. So the first thing for everyone to think about is if you are coming to DMU, is to think about applying for your student finance if you haven't done so already. But don't panic. If you've just joined us through clearing, and you've not done that yet, you've still got time. So don't worry if you're sitting there watching us thinking, oh no, I've not made my application yet. There's still plenty of time, and there will be some information scrolling along the bottom so that you can see where you need to apply if you haven't done that already. So the main thing for you to think about student finance is this is going to be your financial package that you will apply for to assist you financially through your 3, perhaps 4 years at DMU while you're an undergrad. And this will mean that you will pay your tuition fees, so the course costs, and then you'll receive something called a maintenance loan as well. Now, as part of that, you will need to pay it back, okay? But again, don't panic. That's not something you're going to have to do immediately. That will come when you've graduated and you start working and you're earning a certain income. I'm not going to go too much into that because I think it's important that we discuss how you make that application for student finance and some of the things to think about. Okay, so initially, if you haven't applied, you need to go onto Student Finance England to register and create an account, and you'll need to set up a memorable number as well, something that you can remember because they will ask you for that every time you log in to check your portal. Okay, and that's where they'll drop in all sorts of letters about your application, what you're going to be assessed as, how much you're going to receive, and your student entitlement letter, which you're probably going to need for quite a lot of things when you're new to DMU. Bank account, possibly to show for Gateway when there's registration happening. So you can get that from your student finance portal once you've made your application. So once you've registered your account and you've put in all your personal details and you've added all your additional information, for most students, you'll need to have your parents' income details. So you'll need to ask mum or dad about uploading their income. Okay, so it's really easy to do. Okay, you don't have to post anything or send it anywhere or attach it to any emails. You can just upload it onto the portal, and all of that information will then be utilized to assess you on how much you'll receive in terms of your tuition fee and your maintenance loan. Okay, now a lot of students, and you're probably in the same position, will want to know how much they're going to get. And that's quite a difficult question to answer because it will be dependent upon your individual circumstances and where you're living. Okay, so it's not a flat amount for every student, it's very different for each student. Okay, so you might have questions about that, and there is some generic information out there on student finance websites, but it's about making sure that you've applied with your relevant information. Okay, most tuition fee loans are the same because tuition fees are the same for each academic year, but it's the maintenance loan that you'll find might be different. Okay, and again, don't worry. All right, if you have uploaded information or mum or dad or someone's provided income and you're not sure that you're getting the right amount, come and talk to us. You can email us, and as the live stream goes on, all of the relevant information will be scrolling along the bottom. Okay, so there'll be contact email addresses again if you're not sure about providing that information to student finance. So some of you might not have or be choosing to live with your parents, and you might be classed as an independent student or as an estranged student, and you might have to provide a little bit more information about your circumstances, and that's where I can help you in terms of getting that information to student finance. Okay, so if that is you and you feel that that's something you want some more advice on, again, just ask and we can provide that additional information to you, because it is slightly different if you're not able to provide household income because you don't live with mum or dad or you're a care leaver. Okay, so once they've assessed your eligibility, they'll send you information about how much you're going to receive. And that'll include your tuition fees, which is paid directly to De Montfort. So you don't need to worry about that. It will just go directly to the administration in the finance department. And then your maintenance loan. And you'll get that 3 times during the academic year. And it mostly aligns with terms. Okay, so as long as you've made that application and you provided the right information, you should receive your first loan installment October time. Okay, so just as term starting and you're all settled in and you've moved into halls or your accommodation, you should be receiving that money. Okay, and I think that Yin and Schwada are going to talk about student bank accounts later, so that you can find out a little bit more about how to set that up if you haven't done so already, because you are going to need to have somewhere to have that money paid into. Okay, so they'll talk about that later. All right, there is also a really useful YouTube video that Student Finance have made that you might want to watch, and again, all that information will be included on the live stream. So don't worry if you've not got a pen or paper or you're panicking about where that information is. It'll all be on this live stream so that you can rewatch it or look for the information later. And that video will just give you some confidence about the documents that you need and how to upload them to the portal so that you can make that application. Okay. So your loan is going to be your living costs for university. Okay. You may choose to top that income up by having a part-time job. Okay, which an awful lot of students do. And again, I think there'll be some information about that later from Fran, and perhaps some other information scrolling along the screen if that's something you're choosing to look at. But there are also some bursaries and scholarships that certain students might be able to apply to as well. And again, if you're a care leaver or you're care experienced or you're an estranged student, that might be something that you might want to ask about, because there may be some additional finance that you can access from De Montfort University. So your loan, like I say, is your living costs. And generally, this is for your rent and your weekly or monthly outgoings that you're going to have as a student. Okay. Your rent is probably going to be the most money you will spend during your academic year. Okay. Because unfortunately, rent for a lot of accommodation providers are expensive. Some of you might have already sorted out your accommodation, and if you have, well done. So you're well aware of how much rent you're going to be paying and what you need to pay in installments if that's part of the contract. And again, you'll need to think about how to manage those loan installments that you're going to receive each term, because you'll have to pay your rent generally up front and then work out how much you've got left over to pay for everything else that's additional to that cost when you come to university. So that might be things like food, clothes, going out, your phone bill, toiletries, so all of those things that you need to be able to manage and live as a student at De Montfort when you come and join us. Okay, so again, Fran will talk to you a little bit about how we can help you with managing your budget and how to look after your money and some of the things that you can do so that you're not spending it all in the first few weeks of term, because terms are 10-11 weeks long, so I think. So you've got quite a long time to be able to stretch that money that you're receiving as part of your loan package from Student Finance. The other thing that you're going to need to think about when you're moving into halls or the accommodation provider that you might have chosen is your additional costs for bills. So things like electricity, your food, broadband if it's not part of the package, your phone bill, so thinking about how much data you might be using each month, because all of those costs are going to add up very quickly, and unfortunately your loan probably won't cover everything that you're going to have, so you're going to need to think very carefully about how you use your money that you get each month. Okay, so generally, you're not going to have to think about buying furniture or large items for your student accommodation, but you will have to think about other things that you might need when you move in. So again, think about what money you might need before you come to university. So that could be things like a laptop, if you choose to use that. But there's plenty of computers on campus, so don't feel pressured to spend your money on something if you can't afford it. Okay. You might want to think about books that you might have, but again, use the library. There's plenty of stock in there, so you're not necessarily having to spend money on books that can be quite expensive. Think about some of the things you might need for your kitchen. So saucepans, kitchen utensils, a duvet and some bedding, other things that you might like to have in your room that might make it feel like home. Some of those things might not be essential, but again, you need to think about how far your budget's stretching and what you need to use and have to keep yourself safe and warm within your accommodation so that you're looking after yourself. Okay. So I talked a little bit about bills and utility costs. Okay. So this is something that we're all having to think about at the moment, and unfortunately these costs are going to go up. Now, a lot of you who might have accommodation sorted might have already been told about how this is included in your rent, but if not and you're not sure, it's always really good to ask, because you might be in a position where you might be asked to pay a little bit more, or the cost might increase. So you need to think about when you're doing your laundry, when you've got your heating on, don't leave things on standby, because all of those things are going to increase your monthly and weekly costs when you're living in your own accommodation. And you just need to remember that your loan needs to stretch for that period of time during the term. Okay. So again, if you've got any questions about that or you're not sure, you can email us and we'll do our best to answer that for you. So I've talked generically about applying for student finance, and that's the majority of students who will be coming to us for an undergraduate degree. Okay. If you're a healthcare student and you're doing one of our healthcare related courses, you might need to find out some additional information about funding through the NHS. Okay. Now, we've not included this information in terms of discussion points because it's not all students who might be watching today. But again, if you've got any information or questions that you want to check, or you're not sure where to go, or if your course relates to that, then come to us and we can answer those questions for you. Okay. So I don't think I've got anything else to talk about, but I'm going to pass over to Fran and she'll give you an idea of some of the support that they can offer in terms of budgeting, managing your money, looking after yourselves at DMU.
Louise, sorry, Fran, before you
Yeah.
start,
Yeah.
there is a question that I do want to sort of, because it sort of fits in with your sort of remit. So Rachel asked a question about student finance. So Rachel asked, does student finance include postgraduate students? So any student that might be thinking about doing something after their undergraduate. I know we spoke about undergraduates, but I thought it would be good if we can sort of shed some light, if you know, around this. So again, I apologize if I'm putting you on the spot, so please do not feel pressured to answer this, but I'm guessing you might have an idea in terms of whether postgrad students can also apply for student finance.
Yep, it's a little bit different for postgrad students. So it's not the same as applying as an undergraduate, and what you would do is apply for a postgraduate loan, and that amount of money would then cover your course costs and additional living costs in terms of how much you get. And then again, there's a level of where you would pay that back once you've graduated from your postgraduate course at DMU. So I think the best thing to do, Rachel, is if you've got some really specific questions, is to drop us an email and we can give you a little bit more advice. Does that sound okay?
Excellent. So thank you for that, Louise, and thank you for your question, Rachel. So I can see there's people joining us as Louise has been talking. So if you did miss the intro or the first part of this live stream, just to catch you up to date, Louise has gone through student finance, the different types of housing options, different types of costs that are attributed to students who are joining us this September, and even more so if you've joined us through the clearing period. And I think the biggest takeaway message from Louise's segment was that don't worry, don't panic. It's not too late to do a student finance application if you are joining through clearing. and there is a lot of support available. So again, you will see various email addresses coming up on screen. We can post the email address into the chat as well, so it's an easy link for any of you watching if you do have any questions. We can see questions are starting to come through, so thank you so much for that. We will try and answer some questions live on stream. Some of the questions will be answered in the comments, so please do keep your eyes peeled on the comments, and please do keep your questions coming in. So it's great to see that you are getting those questions in. So yeah, so Fran, over to you now. So I believe you're going to give us a bit of insight around money advice, something that I think I should listen very carefully to, because I don't think I'm the best when it comes to money. So I'll be listening very attentively for your section, Fran.
One thing that's just popped into my mind actually about students coming through clearing and their student finances, if you make sure that you put De Montfort as your first choice on your application, go into your application, change it to De Montfort, because then you will ensure that you don't get a delay in your funding. Because if you've got another university on there, your funding goes to them, not us. So top tip, my first top tip.
Thanks, Fran.
That's all right. But yeah, I thought it would be good just to give you a few our budgeting top tips, maybe sort of things that you haven't thought of. We do have a new starters section on our web pages, which will have all this information on there anyway. I think is one of the best things about the new starter webpage is we have a financial timeline on there. So it goes through the whole academic year, October to June, top tips on what you should be doing each month to keep you on track. So check that out. And we're going to talk a bit more about student bank accounts shortly, aren't we? So aside from researching student bank accounts, our biggest thing when we're talking to new starters, particularly at the beginning of the academic year, is to try and put a budget plan together. You might need help with that, so we can help with that in an appointment. But these days, there are loads of different budgeting apps. So have a look at all the apps on offer, find one that suits you, and try and start right from the beginning of your time with us using those apps to keep your budgeting on track. Before you've spent any money, before you've even spent money on accommodation or anything, that's a really good top tip. It sounds a bit boring, but it is the best tip we can give. What else have we got? Consider part-time work alongside your studies. Louise touched on this. We have uni temps in the campus centre, which is basically our own job agency. And uni temps can help with part-time jobs. It could be more permanent things on a Saturday, for example, or it could be one-off things that you're going to get involved with. It could be open days, those sorts of things, graduation. You could just do a day's work and help out with graduation. So uni temps, check it out if you want some part-time work. Council tax. Now, students are exempt from council tax. So as soon as you have got into your accommodation, and to avoid Leicester City Council knocking on your door asking for council tax payments, go into my DMU, which you'll come accustomed to once you're here. In my documents, you will see your council tax exemption certificate. Download that, print it off, and go into Leicester City Council and give it to them. I think you still have to do that. I'm not sure if you know any. It seems a bit of an old-fashioned way to do it, but I think you still, do you have to, or probably email it to
I think what happens now is there's generally, after enrolment, we send mass letters, but some students might be missed. So don't panic if you're missed off. It's really easy, like Fran says, to get your council tax letter from my DMU. It's probably a good idea to print it off anyway, just in case. But generally, most providers will send that information to the local authority for you, but be prepared.
Yeah, because we do get students that come in and say, oh my goodness, I've just had a council tax bill for the year. And it's better to be prepared rather than sort out arrears and all of that sort of messy stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's another one. Some students do choose to take out home insurance. It might not just be to cover, it might not be to cover every single thing, you know, in their flat or private rental. It could be that you just want to insure a couple of really valuable items. So phone, laptop might be something you want to consider. And some insurance companies do specific packages for students. The Totem card, which is the student card, it comes under Totem now rather than the NUS, doesn't it? And if you sign up to the Totem card, that will give you percentages of things, 10% here, 10% there. I think clothes shops, all of those sorts of things. Co-op food, I think there's quite a good, I think it even might be 20% off at co-op food. So that's quite a good top tip. We would also say, if you're at all worried about money, don't be embarrassed, come and see us as soon as you're worried about anything. If your funding's not arrived, if you're worried that student finance are asking for evidence and you're not sure what it is, if something unexpected happens while you're here, it could be anything that relates to your finances and it's set you back, then please do come and see us. And the next thing I wanted to mention was something called Black Bullion, which is something that we signed up to a couple of years ago. It's a online financial capability platform, and I think we're going to show a video towards the end of my explanation about what it is. But basically, on that platform, there are pathways, courses, quizzes that you can all get involved with. There's lots of different courses, so it can range from becoming a new student as you start the journey with us, budgeting, savings, lots of interesting things on taxes, things about when you graduate, everything. You can get involved in I think it's called the Money Boot Camp. And then throughout the academic year, we join up with them and do things like uni battle. So we're battling against other universities. Students can win really good prizes. So if we have the video, it just gives you a little bit more information about Black Bullion.
So for this, Fran, whilst it's playing, because there's no sound, the students just log in online how do they access this site?
Yeah, so once they're enrolled, they can then register for Black Bullion. So it's there waiting for them once they've enrolled, because they have to enroll with their student email address. So they'll obviously get that once they're a fully enrolled student.
And does every student have to do this, or is it optional to every
They
student?
don't have to do it. No, it's just there if they want to do it. So yeah, you don't need to do it, but we would suggest that they do it.
I think I might sign up to Black Bullion myself.
That's all that we say. Repeat it ourselves.
Is it open to staff? Can staff members sort of?
I think staff can sign up to it. Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, Dal. You should have a look.
No excuses.
That's very interesting. But one thing I'd really want to reiterate what Fran said was something about employability. And I feel like for myself, and again, I'm just speaking from my own personal perspective here, it helped me a lot, not only financially, but it also provided me with some sort of rota on how my week was going to go. Mm-hmm. So I sort of knew the days that I'll be working, the days that I would need to concentrate and commit time to my university studies. So it just gave me a bit more structure, as well as having a bit more income in terms of being able to do what I want to do. So if you are in a position where you can sort of get some part-time work, Unitemps are absolutely fantastic in helping students to sort of get some part-time work in, and it just makes your time at university a little bit easier. So a question that we've had quite a few more questions come in actually, but one thing that I do want to pick up, and I want to throw this out to Swada and Yin. So Swada and Yin, I feel like you will be best placed to answer this question. So I think the question that we're trying to ask here is about the nature at De Montfort universities. And what would you guys say as current students or ex-students to De Montfort University about the nature?
Right. So, Dal, from my personal experience, when I started my degree in media and communication, I wasn't really sure about the subject. Like, I had no idea I wanted to do it or. But my the faculty members and the staff, like the module leaders, they really supported me and made sure, like, if I'm sending them drafts from for assignments, they will make sure that they'll review it in time, and they'll give me like a good review of it, and they'll also like provide me good feedback on it. um because like my subject as well was very practical, there was like loads of practical element to it. The kind of support it helped me navigate through it, and because it was taking a bit longer for me to kind of understand the subject, they really were helpful. And I truly can attest the fact that our like DME staff is very, or the faculty members are very congenial, they're very friendly and very approachable. So yeah.
Excellent. So, guys, I just want to put it out there. We haven't scripted Swada's response on that question. So that was a complete ad hoc response to her experience
That is true, yes.
at De Montfort University. And Yin, what about yourself? What would you say about the nature or the culture at De Montfort University?
For me personally, I'm originally from China, and I do have a lot of friends also from China. DMU is a very international, I'd say, because like we do have a lot of students from around the world. What I can say add-ons to Swadas is that also personal tutor is very helpful. So they do give you a lot of advice on your study, anything like mental health. Also, our library do provide a lot of one-to-one meetings on your study. Everyone's very friendly, and our professor are replying email like really quickly.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So thank you for that, both. Louise, Fran, again, we've had another question come in that I briefly want to touch upon. I'm hoping that you guys can help me out on this. So there's two words that are always thrown around, I think, in regards to finance and going to university, and that is scholarships and bursaries. So for someone that is unsure of what a scholarship is or what a bursary is, would either of you be able to provide some sort of insight of what they are and potentially how they would try and gain or access more information around that?
Want me to do this one, Fran?
Yeah, go on then.
So scholarships and bursaries are things that students can apply to. There's a whole raft of things out there. Okay, so it's not just scholarships and bursaries that might be available to you from De Montfort. There might be other things that you can apply to as well. It's something that I've not shared as part of the live stream, so hopefully we can get some information out there. But there are lots of grant and bursary search engines that you can use to look to see if there's things that you can apply to externally to DMU to help your studies. And generally with a scholarship or a bursary, you would apply, and then if you were offered that, it would be a financial gift to you. Okay, so there would be no element of having to pay that back. All right, and that would be something that you would then utilize to support you financially through your studies at DMU. Now, DMU has got a range of scholarships and bursaries that are available to certain cohorts of students. And again, you would have to look to see if you met the criteria for some of those scholarships and bursaries that we have to top up your financial support during your time at university. So specifically, we have bursaries for students who are care experienced or a care leaver, those that might be caring for someone within their family. So you might be the primary carer for mum or grandma or a sibling. We have financial support and bursary for students who are estranged from their parents. So you've not lived with mum and dad or mum or dad for a few years and you've been independent from them. And there's some additional financial support that you can get during your studies at De Montfort. And again, that's something that I look after. So if you've got any questions about those or you fit that cohort and you want to find out a little bit more information about that, then again, please contact us and we'll do our best to try and help you with that information. Now, there are a range of other scholarships that some students might be able to apply for. So if you're an international student, there's fee discount on some courses, but you have to be quick because there's a limited number. There's something called an Article 26 scholarship. So if you're an asylum seeker, that might be something that you can apply to get some assistance. Because unfortunately, if you are an asylum seeker, you wouldn't be able to apply for public funds, which is student finance. So you would need another way to pay for your studies in the UK as an asylum seeker. So again, if you've got questions about that, you can come and ask us and we'll do our best to advise you. We've got something called the Stonygate Scholarship, which is paid to 3 students, and that covers a range of financial costs. And again, that's about supporting students who might be the first in their family to go to university and have overcome some sort of difficulty to get to university and need some additional help during their studies. So again, no specific information in this because it's information that you would need to meet criteria for. But again, email us, okay, and we can provide some additional information to you. That all right, Dal?
Absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for that, and hopefully that's very useful to our viewers listening. One of the search hubs that I know off the top of my head is the Scholarship Hub. So something that Louise was referring to, where it's a wider search engine that will sort of list and generate the scholarships that sit outside of De Montfort University. But if you are interested in the ones at DMU, if you head over to the comment section, you can see that we've posted the URLs that will take you to our scholarships and bursary pages. So again, thank you for the questions, and I can see there's some questions in the comment section that I'll address now in regards to CAS. So CAS letters, they will take a little time, so we do apologize on that. The message that I've been told from admissions is that we are working on that as a top priority. If you do want to chase up your own personal account with them, you can give admissions an email. So again, we can post that email address into the chat. So it's admissions@dmu.ac.uk for further information regarding your admission to study here at DMU. So thank you for your patience so far. So please do bear with us. We'll try and get that issued as soon as we can. So we are now going to head over to Swada and Yin. So what we want to do is get a bit of insight from the student's perspective. Okay, so student bank accounts. So for you guys, what did you guys do in regards to student bank accounts? Any advice that you would give to any of our viewers listening? What would you say?
So I'm a student bank account with HSBC. So what I did was I'm originally already with HSBC, but I opened a student bank account when I came to DMU. I think it was in the first month. So if you want to open a bank account, you do have to bring your ID to prove that you're a student. So bring your ID, like reference number, and you have to make appointment with the bank first before you go, because they can't just give you like all the details, because you do have to sign a contract, and it do take about half an hour to an hour. The good thing about student bank account is that you get a overdraft. With HSBC, I got £100 as a gift. I know some of my friends who is with Santander. They got a 3 years of free real card. So it depends on which bank you want to choose. And yeah, so do prepare to get your if you're an international student, to get your BRP or passport, and if you're a home student, just bring your driving license or reference numbers.
Excellent. So with these bank accounts, I remember when I went to university, so it was quite a bit of time ago, one of my bank accounts had some like phone insurance included, and I'm sure I had like Spotify or Netflix, so I'm pretty sure they were also included as well. So I know these are some of the live streams that students nowadays watch or engage with. So your Spotify, your Netflix. I'm not too sure if that's still the case. I don't know if either of you have those perks with your bank accounts, but what would you say, Swada, in regards to bank accounts?
Right, just to add to Yin's and Dal, your point, I would suggest like definitely getting a student bank account. I did not do that, and it was a mistake because when I started uni, I was like 17, so they asked me to do like an under 19s account, and then they could switch me over to current account. However, I should have switched to student account because there are loads of benefits that come with student accounts. So you get overdraft limit, so you get that facility, but they don't ask you to pay any interest. So that's again a very beneficial facility that you can get with student accounts. Also, there are like certain benefits, such as you get rail card discounts, you get NUS card, which is I'm not sure what's it called now. I think it's Totem. Is it? I'm not sure. Totem. There you go. Thank you, Fran. So yeah, you do get, sometimes you get discounts on that card itself, and then you can go and get that card, which again gives you like plenty of other discounts as a student. So it really, I would also suggest like researching a lot, and it depends on what you want from your bank, and sort of doing the research yourself. There are plenty of banks available in the UK, and it's very easy to create your own account, and it's very easy, if you already have an account, it's very easy to switch over to a student account as well. But yeah.
Excellent. So Yin, this is probably best directed toward yourself because you have a student bank account. Are there any charges related to a student having a bank account that you know of? So like for the one that you have got, I mean, the whole idea about getting a student bank account is to try and save money or try and cut back on money. But are there any costs involved that students should be aware of, that you might be aware of with your student bank account that you have?
No, there's no any charge for student bank account. So if you for mine, I do have £1,000 of overdraft with HSBC. They don't charge any fees if you're a student, but they will charge if you don't have a student bank account.
Excellent. One thing I would say with student bank account, guys, just as a general bit of advice and guidance when choosing a bank account, please make sure you look at any fees that might be associated with the bank account. So please do not take the presumption that all bank accounts are free and you're not going to get charged on overdrafts, because we sort of was talking about it on there. They are very subjective to the bank accounts that we are speaking about. So in this case, Yin's bank account with HSBC, it will be subjective to that. So please always do your due diligence, have a look around, make sure you search and you know exactly what the fees are associated, if there are any, with your bank account. So students, what would you say your top tips are for managing your money whilst you're at university? So who wants to go first?
I don't mind going first. I think like reiterating the point that Fran mentioned earlier regarding budgeting, it's so important to budget. What worked for me is like I kind of made a budget of what I like, how I want to spend my money. So I just kind of segregated it for grocery, for going out, and for night out and that sort of thing. Like I kind of segregated and try to maintain like a goal, like a budget goal, and try to stick to it. What really helped me again is to kind of think, if I'm going shopping or if I'm going out, do I really need something? If I don't need it, I don't have to get it. So if I want it, then maybe it can wait. So that really helps me a lot. So I would suggest like doing that kind of thinking and kind of controlling your mind. I know it's very tempting to get. I've done that myself. I've fallen prey to that. So it's just kind of like training your mind to think like, oh, do I really need this? Because at the end of the day, you do get loan. Yes, you do get like living expenses. However, it's a loan, so you kind of have to understand that maybe at some point you might have to give it back. So just keeping that in mind and kind of like budgeting. And as Fran mentioned earlier, we've got loads of budgeting apps nowadays that does the work for you, so you don't even have to do that. You just have to add what your budget is, and they will do the work for you. So that will really help. I would also suggest like trying not limit the amount of time you go out to eat, because honestly the so much money you can save up by just cooking at home, and with just like a very minimum ingredients. Literally you can make good like gourmet meal with just 3 ingredients, to be fair. So I think that would really again help a lot. So yeah, those are some of like my points.
Absolutely solid top tip there, because I've got this rule. I don't know about you guys. If I want to buy something, I'll always sleep on it. So if I see something, so instead of being super impulsive, I'll take some time. I'll go home. I'll go to sleep. And if I still feel the same way about it in the morning, I'll usually go out and purchase it. And absolutely, with the ingredients, I feel like you can make a lot of dishes with minimal ingredients. For me, one of my top dishes at university required bread and beans. I'll let you lot fill in the blanks as to what I sort of lived off whilst I was at university. Yin, what about yourself? What would you say your top tips are? think Yin's trying to find the mute button. There we are.
Hello, sorry.
Hi.
So for my topics, I have two. One is when you get your student finance, it's quite a large amount because for student finance, we get it for get it 3 times. So you get around about £2,000, I'd say, at once. So do not spend it at once. Don't think that you have, oh my God, £2,000 in the bank, you can buy as much as possible. No, because you do have to keep it till the end. I think because we have to use it for about around 3 months. £2,000, that's we get it. So what I do is I save half of the money into a like a saver account, because with HSBC as well, so we do have a account and we do have like a saver account. So this is not a card, so it's just like a bank on the HSBC app, mobile app. So that's what I do to save half of the money and try to not spend as much. Second one is cook as much as possible, because eating out can be very expensive. You might think, oh, it's fine, it's only £20 at a time, but no. Nowadays, the restaurant do charge like service fee, and everything is going up, so it can be very, very expensive.
Absolutely, I would definitely agree with the points that you've raised there. And sticking with you both, what would you say are just the general costs of students? So through your own experiences, what would you say are the general costs that students faced while studying at university? Swada, Yin?
Oh, hi, I go first. I think what I spend on most is probably food, because I personally don't really go out to drinking or clubbing. So all my money goes to food or like clothes shopping, because I'm a girl. And so yes, because I do like to eat a lot, so I think cook is definitely the top tip I can give. And do not eat out so many times. Cooking can save a lot of money, and it's very cheap compared to eat out, because like for food that you buy from Tesco or some like other supermarket, food for like £50 you can eat for a whole week. And like for eating out £50, probably just like two meals. So do cook as much as possible.
I don't think it's just girls. If I'm being completely honest, I like to buy a lot of clothes myself, to be honest. I don't think it's something that's just strictly to females. I'm sure there's a lot of males on the chat as well that who may be listening to this may have similar sort of issues when it comes to purchasing clothes. Swada, what about yourself?
Right, I definitely agree with Yin. It's grocery that takes up a lot of your money, and also I think accommodation, which is why you need to sort that out fast, and then kind of think like if you have got money available, then you can spend it somewhere else. So your top list should be accommodation. So your list should include accommodation, grocery, and then other things like, or if you've got like time and money to spend like for going out and eating out, that's good. So what else would help is to like also get a part-time job. So me and Yin, we work as a student ambassador for DMU. So again, as it was mentioned earlier, you have to apply through Unitemps. So that really kind of helps as well to enhance like your employability skills, but at the same time you kind of earn as well. So that money you can save up to spend for like eating out or going out. So that's something that I could recommend as well for students, like new students, if they want to look for like a part-time job. But if it's not something that they're not, if it's not something that they're looking for, they can obviously look at like budgeting and saving up. So yeah. And also one thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention earlier, is that always whenever you're going like shopping or going out, always ask for student discounts, because there are loads of shops, loads of businesses that offer student discounts. So always ask. There's no hurt in like asking if they don't do it, they don't do it. If they do it, yeah, you get student discounts.
So one thing I just want to quickly delve into with you, Swada, there, you mentioned Unitemps, you mentioned you're a student ambassador, and Yin, you are as well, to the university. What does that mean to a student, and how has that been helpful to you? So like, how do you choose how you work? What's the sort of working patterns? Like,
Right.
How would that be beneficial to any student who is thinking about, right, I do want to get some sort of employability whilst I'm at university?
So what you do is you get yourself registered to Unitemps, which is an agency that offers contract-based or temporary roles within university, and then like within Leicester. So once you get registered, once you get job as a student ambassador, it's very flexible, so you can kind of mold it around and work it around your schedule, your uni schedule. It sometimes I think it's like it depends on what kind of roles you'll do as well. So it can be like either on Saturday or weekday for a couple of hours. So it's really up to you what kind of shifts you want to pick, and they pay really well. So so it'll really be beneficial for our like new students. Again, it really helps like gain employability skills, gain interpersonal skills. So it helps you with your communication, confidence, that sort of thing. So I think I would definitely recommend it.
Thank you so much. So yeah, so Unitemp student ambassador work is something that we would always push to our students to try and get involved with, because as Swada mentioned, one of the great perks is not just how much they pay, but also the flexibility that it gives you. So if some weeks you are a bit busy with your academic work and you can't commit to working as much, you can not volunteer yourselves for any shifts. If there's some weeks where you've got a bit more time, you can volunteer yourself to do more shifts. So please do have a look at that. And again, the link has been posted in the chat, I think, but if not, it's Unitemps. So you can have a look at DMU Unitemps. So we're going to go back over to Louise and Fran. So is there anything else that you guys want to add at this stage? So in terms of being the cost of a student, in terms of how DMU can help, is there anything that you feel like is very important that a student should know? Because we are approaching the end of our live stream.
So there's a couple of...
sorry, Louise.
No, you go, Fran.
Jump straight.
It's all right.
No, I just wanted to quickly mention the DMU Support Fund, which I did talk about a little bit at the beginning, which is the University Hardship Fund, which is what our team administrates. So if you're a home student, you can apply to open around mid-October. Sometimes it's late October, and the fund is open all academic year, so October to June. And as long as you've taken out your full entitlement to student finance, there are a lot of different elements. So it could be anything from high costs, childcare costs, lots of information on the webpage. But do remember the DMU Support Fund if you're struggling financially. Louise.
So thanks for that, Fran. I was going to mention it because I know that you talked about it earlier, but there's a couple of things from me that you might want to think about. De Montfort's a campus-based university, so lots of things are in walking distance. So think about how you get into and from places, but being safe as well. So you might not need an Uber for everything. Okay, so just think about where you are and where you're going, because those costs will soon add up. But if you're out at night and there's a group of you and you can share the costs of a taxi or an Uber, do think about that so that you're safe getting home during the evening. Don't forget as well that if you're living with people and you're getting to know them, you can share shopping costs. So if you buy pasta together and rice together and other essentials, you can all cook together and share food and meals, and you might find that your shopping costs are reduced because you're built up a store cupboard and that you can dip in and out of that, and then that might allow you a little bit of flexibility to eat out with friends or enjoy a few meals out. And the other thing that I would say to you is learn a couple of really good meals that you like to cook, so that you're not then tempted to order a pizza or go to Nando's or whatever your thing is for your favorite food. Okay, so that you're then stretching your money a little bit further, because actually you've got something that you enjoy on a Friday night. And don't forget to get an NUS card, because that discount really does make a difference.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I'm still using is Uni Days as well. So I don't know if anyone else is using Uni Days, but I still use Uni Days there. And also I think Apple as well do great discounts as well. So if you do need to buy any products, I don't know, maybe a new laptop, iPad or whatever it may be, I know that Apple also do some good discounts. So this is my final call for our viewers to get any outstanding questions in, because we will be wrapping up this live stream very shortly. So now is your time to frantically tap away at your keypads and get your questions in so we can try and answer them on air. But before we do go to some questions, is there anything else that you guys, my wonderful panel, that you would like to add that we haven't sort of covered? Or if you feel like you've said everything that we've said, I can go to some questions. No? So cool. I'll go to some questions, and these are just some common scenarios that we've had from students previously. So this might be towards, well, it's open to all of you, but I feel like Fran or Louise might be best placed to answer this. But is there any help to create a budget? So if you've got a student who's concerned about budgeting, or they're not too sure how to go about it, apart from the apps, is there anything else the university can do to sort of help them create a budget or to see where their spend's going?
Yeah, we can see students in something called money doctor appointments. So we have lots of different types of appointments, but our budgeting appointments come under those themselves via My Gateway, which will become clear once you've enrolled at DMU. And we can put together a bespoke budget that's all about you. We will break it down for you, and it's really handy. And going back to what Swada said, it's taking off the big costs at the beginning of term, see what you're left with. And actually, another top tip I've just thought of is try and use cash rather than a debit card, because then you can see that money running out throughout the week. But we can break it down into little bits, like your £25. If you don't go over it, if you don't go over it, you'll be all right.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Fran. And Louise, anything from you?
Other than don't feel afraid to ask for help. Come to us if you're worried, or you're not sure, or you've never managed a budget before, or you don't know how to read a bank statement, or you're a bit frightened of the amount of money that you've received. Come and talk to us, and we will help you to understand how that income works and what to do with it and how to manage it. So just reach out and ask us for help.
Excellent. And I really want to reiterate that. So everyone here at De Montfort University is super helpful. So we would never like to see any student worry about any sort of topic that we can sort of address. So if you do have any questions, you can see our email address was running along the bottom of the screen. It has been posted into the comment section again, so you can always refer back to that and get any questions regarding finances in to that email address. So we're now at the end of our live stream. So I want to say thank you so much to Yin, Fran, Swada, and Louise. You have been fantastic guests, and I'm hoping that the students or prospective students, should I say, who are watching this have found this super useful with all the hints and the tips that we've shared. I just want to say from myself, thank you so much for joining in. And if you do have any questions around finances, please do get them in to sfw@dmu.ac.uk. In regards to the CAS, I know there's some outstanding questions in regards to classes, timetabling, and CAS. We have posted an email address into the chat regarding CAS queries. So if you do have a CAS query, please do refer to that email address. In regards to timetabling, you will be contacted individually in regards to what your timetable actually looks like. So thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for joining this live stream. So I hope you all have a fantastic Monday evening. So thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, Dal. Thank you, everyone.